Welcome to the deep dive. You're already putting in the work with your training, right? But what if you could be even smarter about it? Today, we're diving into nutrient timing, strategically eating your carbs, proteins, and fats around your workouts to, well, really maximize your results.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about counting calories here. I mean, that's important, but this is more about being tactical.
Tactical with food, I like that.
Yeah, using food to boost performance, speed up recovery, and really get better adaptations from all that effort you're putting in. Our guide for this is the nutrient timing article by Sundried.
Okay, so think of this as your shortcut, maybe,
Yeah.
to understanding how to fuel your body like it's a high-performance machine.
Yeah.
We'll try to cut through the noise, get to the stuff you can actually use.
Get those aha moments.
Exactly. Help you feel like you're truly optimizing your training without getting totally overwhelmed.
Okay.
Let's unpack this. What exactly is nutrient timing?
Simply put, nutrient timing is about eating specific nutrients, your carbs, protein, fats at specific times relative to your exercise. So it's not just hitting your daily macros, which again is crucial,
Right.
but it's about strategically planning when you consume them, before, during, and after your workouts.
So it's being clever about when we eat what. Got it.
Pretty much.
Like giving your body the right fuel at the right moment to perform its best. These key periods, before, during, after. Now, this isn't some brand new trend, is it? Where did this idea even come from?
That's a great point. No, it's not new. The idea actually has roots going back quite a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, initially the focus was heavily on getting enough carbohydrates during long endurance events, to keep energy levels up, stave off fatigue.
Makes sense. Keep going.
But over time, people started realizing that what athletes ate before and after training also played a really significant role.
Ah, so prep and recovery, too.
Precisely. The formal concept really took shape in the 1970s and 80s. Early research was very interested in carb loading.
Right, I've heard of that.
Yeah, maximizing carbohydrate storage for endurance. Studies showed that strategically timing carb intake could really impact how quickly your glycogen stores refilled after exercise.
Okay.
And then later, as we learned more about muscle repair and growth, the importance of protein timing got added to the equation. So it evolved, carbs, proteins, even fats timed strategically.
Interesting. And I've definitely heard people talk about the anabolic window. Is that still the thing? What's the current thinking there?
The anabolic window.
Yeah.
Yeah, the traditional view was this really short period, maybe 30 to 60 minutes post-exercise.
Right, like rush for that shake.
Exactly, where your body was supposedly super primed to absorb nutrients. A very narrow window. But our understanding shifted a bit. Now, we often talk about the garage door of opportunity.
A garage door? I like that. Sounds less stressful.
It is. It suggests a much wider time frame around your workout before, during, and after. It highlights that having the right nutrients available throughout this whole period has this ongoing impact.
So it's not just one tiny moment.
Not really. We know now that muscle protein synthesis, that muscle building process, it stays elevated for quite a bit longer after exercise.
Okay.
So that immediate rush, maybe not as critical, especially if you had a decent meal before your workout. It's more about making sure you're getting the right stuff in and around the session, less stressing about a tiny fleeting window.
That's genuinely good to know. Less stress. So, okay, what are the actual concrete benefits here? Why should you, listening right now, pay attention to this?
Well, the payoffs can be really worthwhile. Let's start with muscle growth. Hypertrophy.
Okay.
When you consume protein and carbs after resistance training, it really helps maximize that muscle protein synthesis, MPS, repairing and building new muscle.
Right, MPS.
And it's not just about growth. It's crucial for repair, getting you ready for the next session, plus refilling those glycogen stores you used up. Vital for future workouts.
Absolutely.
Resistance exercise itself kicks off MPS, but eating, especially protein, really amps it up. Essential amino acids, particularly leucines like the light switch for muscle building.
The key player.
Yeah, definitely. And while protein's the star, carbs can lend a hand too, supporting MPS when you have them with amino acids. And interestingly, research even shows that eating protein before your workout can have positive effects.
Okay.
Yeah, on muscle strength, growth, and recovery.
So it's not just about what happens after we hit the weights. What about how our muscles, bounce back, recovery,
Absolutely crucial. Effective post-exercise nutrition is fundamental for that. When you eat a mix of carbs and protein after training, you're giving your body the building blocks it needs.
Makes sense.
Fixing tissue damage, refilling energy reserves, that's glycogen, getting your fluid balance back. Carbs are essential for replenishing glycogen, fuel for next time.
Right.
And protein provides the amino acids to repair those tiny muscle fiber tears from exercise. So important for adaptation and growth.
So timing both is key.
For immediate recovery and long-term adaptation, yeah, strategic timing is key.
Okay, bigger muscles, faster recovery. What about actual performance? Can timing help us push harder or go longer?
Definitely. Nutrient timing plays a significant role there. By strategically consuming the right stuff before, during, and immediately after exercise, you basically enable your body to respond more effectively.
Handle the stress better.
Exactly. For endurance athletes, consistently having enough carbs available through smart timing is vital, keeps glycogen stores up, blood sugar stable.
Right.
And taking carbs during the workout, intra-workout carbs, helps conserve glycogen, keep blood sugar stable, optimizes your intensity.
Keeps you from hitting the wall?
Pretty much. And eating carbs before an endurance event, generally shown to improve performance, gives you the fuel you need. Key insight here. Prioritize carbs before intense or long workouts. They're your main fuel.
Got it. Fueling the engine. Now, beyond muscles and performance, does this timing stuff have any broader effects, like body composition, overall health?
Yeah, it seems so. Beyond the direct impacts, nutrient timing can positively influence body composition.
How so?
Well, strategically timing nutrients might influence nutrient partitioning, maybe directing nutrients more towards muscle instead of fat storage.
Interesting.
There's also a potential link to regulating hunger hormones like leptin and ghrelin. Could play a role in weight management.
Oh, okay.
And plus, these time strategies with carbs and hemp protein, they've been shown to support increases in muscle strength and just overall improvements in body composition.
This is all really fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What should we be thinking about before we even start our workout, pre-workout nutrition?
Right, pre-workout. The main goals here are making sure you have enough energy for the session,
Makes sense.
that your glycogen stores are topped up, especially for sustained effort, and minimizing muscle breakdown during the exercise itself.
So fuel, reserves, and protection.
Exactly. Eating right beforehand provides immediate fuel, stabilizes blood sugar, reduces hunger during the workout, minimizes digestive issues, ideally.
Right, don't want stomach cramps.
No. And providing those essential amino acids beforehand can actually kickstart MPS as soon as you finish, helping protect and recover muscles.
Okay, so when should we be eating? What's the time frame?
Generally, the recommendation is somewhere between 1 to 4 hours before you exercise.
It's a pretty big window.
It is. And the exact timing really depends on you. Your personal tolerance, how big the meal is. 2 to 4 hours usually gives enough time for digestion.
Okay.
If you've got less time, maybe an early morning session, a smaller meal or snack, maybe 300, 400 calories, about an hour before can work.
Right.
But probably best to avoid eating right before you start. Let your body focus on the workout, not digestion. It's really trial and error to find your sweet spot.
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of fuel? Carbs, protein, fats. What's a priority pre-workout?
All three have a role, but yeah, carbohydrates are really the star player, especially for high intensity and endurance stuff.
Energy source.
Exactly. Guideline, maybe 1-4 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight 1-4 hours before. Depends on the workout length and intensity.
Okay.
For endurance, really focus on carbs to fill those glycogen stores. Complex carbs like whole grains give sustained energy good for meals a few hours out.
And closer to the workout.
Simple carbs like fruits, they digest faster, give a quicker energy boost.
Okay, carbs are king. What about protein and fat?
Definitely include moderate protein, around 20-30 grams, maybe a few hours before. Helps kickstart MPS, might reduce muscle damage.
Right.
Fats, you want to limit those right before the workout. They slow digestion. But healthy fats eaten, say, 2-4 hours before can contribute to overall energy balance and nutrient absorption.
So carbs for energy, protein for muscle prep, keep fats a bit further out.
Got it.
Does it differ much for, say, endurance runners versus someone lifting weights?
Yeah, there are some nuances. For endurance, heavy reliance on carbs, right? So really emphasize carb intake in that pre-workout window.
Makes sense.
Maybe a carb-rich meal 2-3 hours before. Aim for like 100-150 grams of easily digestible carbs. Moderate protein too, maybe 10-20 grams, helps keep blood sugar stable.
And for strength training?
focuses more on easily digestible carbs for immediate energy and moderate protein to support MPS and minimize breakdown. A common suggestion is maybe 30–45 grams of both carbs and protein, roughly 60–90 minutes before hitting the weights.
That's really helpful breaking it down like that. Can you give us some like real-world examples, meals, snacks for different times?
Absolutely. So if you have that 1–4 hour window,
Yeah.
oatmeal with fruit, Greek yogurt with berries, peanut butter or banana sandwich on whole wheat,
Classic.
or a proper meal like chicken breast with rice and veggies. Closer to the workout, say within an hour, think smaller, easier to digest. A banana, rice cakes with honey, small bowl of cereal, maybe a protein shake with fruit.
Quick and easy.
Yeah, and if you're really short on time, like less than an hour, focus on quick energy. Fruit smoothie, just a banana, energy gel, sports drink, maybe a plain bagel with a little turkey.
Okay.
And for those longer endurance folks fueling 2–4 hours out, think lean ground turkey with sweet potato, salmon with wild rice, eggs with toast and fruit, turkey sandwich on whole grain.
Lots of great ideas there. Okay, so that's before. What about during the workout? Should we be fueling while we exercise?
Yeah, intra-workout nutrition, what you consume while exercising, it can offer some real benefits, especially for longer or higher intensity sessions.
Like what?
Well, it helps maintain consistent energy levels, keeps performance up, delays fatigue. It can also help reduce muscle tissue breakdown and, importantly, helps with hydration, especially during longer workouts where you sweat a lot.
Right, keeping the tank topped up. When is it most important?
It really depends on duration and intensity. Workouts under, say, 45 minutes. Your
Yeah.
stored energy is usually enough. Water, maybe electrolytes, is likely fine.
Okay.
But if you're going longer than 45 minutes, especially moderate to high intensity, taking in small amounts of easily digestible carbs, maybe some protein, can help maintain energy and support recovery.
And for really long stuff.
Yeah, endurance training over 60 minutes. General recommendation is about 30–60 grams of carbs per hour, keeps blood glucose up, spares muscle glycogen. Really long events, over 2.5–3 hours, might need up to 90 grams per hour.
Wow, that's quite a bit.
It is. And for strength training, longer or intense sessions, fast digesting carbs and quick protein might be beneficial too. Maintain energy, support muscles.
We hear about carb loading before events. Is there a similar idea during? Yeah. How do we handle carbs mid-exercise?
Yeah, kind of. You want fast digesting carbs, things like glucose, dextrose, maltodextrin, clusterdextrin. They absorb quickly, give rapid energy.
Gotcha.
For workouts over an hour, aim for that 30–60 grams per hour guideline. Best to start early in the workout and keep taking small amounts regularly.
Don't wait till you're crashing.
Exactly. Glucose is often seen as most efficient. For those super long endurance events, over 2.5 hours, a mix of glucose and fructose might actually maximize how your body uses carbs.
Interesting. What about protein and electrolytes during exercise? Important.
They definitely have roles, though carbs are primary fuel. A small amount of easily digestible protein during can help minimize muscle breakdown, maybe even start repair. Some research suggests protein, or BCAAs, branched-chain amino acids, with carbs before or during resistance training might enhance MPS and reduce breakdown right after.
BCAAs, eh?
Endurance athletes might find BCAAs helpful too during long sessions. Muscles can use them for energy. And electrolytes, sodium, potassium, etc., crucial.
Why is that?
Muscle function, fluid balance, preventing dehydration, cramps, especially for workouts over an hour or in the heat. Got to replace what you lose in sweat.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, practically, how do we do this?
Yeah.
Drinks, gels, what works?
Yeah, practical stuff. Carb-rich drinks or gels are super convenient. Sports drinks with 6–8% carbs give energy and fluids.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Right. Energy gels, chews, bars, concentrated carbs, easy to carry. For electrolytes, you've got enhanced drinks or capsules. BCAA supplements are popular too.
Any whole food options?
Sure. Bananas, raisins easily digestible. The key is finding what sits well in your stomach during exercise. Gut comfort is huge.
Totally. Okay, we powered through the workout. Now, recovery. Post-workout nutrition. What are the main goals here?
Post-workout has 2 big goals. Efficiently replenish the glycogen stores you just used up.
Refuel the tank.
Exactly. And stimulate muscle protein synthesis MPS to help repair and grow muscle tissue. Plus, slowing down muscle breakdown. Net positive protein balance, that's the aim for recovery and adaptation.
Okay. We talked about the anabolic window turning into a garage door. How does that affect when we should eat after? Still important to rush.
Well, yeah, the garage door idea means that 30–60 minute window isn't quite the panic zone we thought. It might stay open for maybe up to 5-6 hours.
Wow.
But getting nutrients in relatively soon after finishing, still beneficial, especially for refilling glycogen quickly.
So not critical, but still good.
Kind of. Some evidence suggests being super rigid about that immediate window might not be as critical as just ensuring you get enough protein and carbs throughout the day overall. And remember the pre-workout protein.
Right. That helps too.
Yeah, if you had protein before, it can influence things, potentially making that immediate post-exercise hit less urgent. So, yeah, helpful, but total daily intake and pre-workout nutrition really matter too.
Okay, so less frantic, but still smart to refuel reasonably soon. What's a recommended timing then?
Generally aiming for a post-workout meal or snack with both carbs and protein within about 1-2 hours after finishing is a good guideline. Optimizes recovery, muscle growth.
1 to 2 hours.
Some experts do suggest aiming for nutrients within an hour after intense workouts. And maybe a protein-rich snack within 30 minutes could be particularly good for boosting MPS.
Okay. Any exceptions?
Yeah, if you train fasted, like first thing in the morning, no food beforehand, then it's especially important to get nutrients in, particularly protein, ASAP, ideally within about 40 minutes.
Right. Need to kickstart recovery then.
Exactly. But if you had a solid meal a few hours before, the urgency might be slightly less.
Makes sense. What about the actual food? What's the ideal mix of carbs and protein post-workout?
Usually focuses on both. A common recommendation is maybe 1 gram of carbs per kilo of body weight, plus about 0.5 grams of protein per kilo within that first 30 minutes after a really tough session.
That's quite specific.
It is. Another guideline suggests 1.2 gigagram carbs and 0.5 gigagram high-quality protein in that initial meal, if you really depleted glycogen. Could be 15-25 gym protein and 1-2 g carbs per kilo per hour of exercise.
Wow.
But general protein guidelines often fall in the 20-40 gram range post-workout to maximize MPS.
Okay, 20-40 grams protein is a good target. And hydration, can't forget that, right?
Absolutely not. Rehydrating is just as crucial. Drink plenty of water to replace sweat loss. Guideline, maybe 16-24 ounces of fluid for every pound of body weight lost during exercise.
Weigh yourself before and after.
Can be helpful, yeah. And for longer workouts or in the heat, consider sports drinks with electrolytes to replace those lost minerals too.
Right. Okay, give us some tasty practical ideas for post-workout fuel hitting those carb and protein targets.
Loads of good options. Protein shake with a banana, classic. Grilled chicken with quinoa. Tuna sandwich on wholemeal with fruit. Scrambled eggs with avocado toast.
Right.
Baked salmon with sweet potato. Greek yogurt with berries and granola. For quicker snacks, protein powder in water milk. Hard-boiled eggs. Cottage cheese, a protein bar.
Good carb sources to pair.
Sweet potatoes, quinoa, fruits, rice cakes, brown rice, oatmeal, potatoes, wholemeal bread. And don't forget healthy fats. Avocado, nuts, seeds, part of a balanced recovery meal.
Other ideas.
Recovery smoothies are great. Low-fat chocolate milk is surprisingly effective. Sliced turkey wrap with veggies. Even a classic peanut butter sandwich works.
This has been super informative. But like we said, everyone's different. How do we take all this and make it personal? Individualize it.
Yeah, individualizing is absolutely key. You got to consider your training intensity and volume. Higher intensity, higher volume. Depletes glycogen more, carb timing becomes more important.
Right.
Type and duration matter too. Endurance, heavy on carbs. Resistance training. Different glycogen use, but carbs still help. And your goals.
Right. Goals are huge.
Muscle gain. Prioritize protein around resistance work. Adequate pre-workout carbs for energy. Weight loss. Maybe lower to moderate carbs, higher protein. Pre-workout protein might help fat burning. Focus on the overall calorie deficit, though.
Of course.
Endurance goal. High carb intake before, during, after prolonged activity. Critical.
What else?
Your own tolerance. Digestive sensitivities, experiment. Avoid high fat, high fiber right before exercise. Pay attention to how your body feels. Your metabolism, your training status, how fit you are, that all plays a role too. More training usually means higher energy needs.
So definitely not one size fits all. It sounds like it could get complicated. Any practical tips for actually doing this day to day?
Yeah, make it doable. Being prepared helps a lot.
Meal prep.
Yeah, meal prep some stuff. Keep high-carb snacks, handy, granola bars, fruit. Pre-pack intra-workout stuff if you use it, shaker, electrolytes. Pack healthy snacks generally for stable energy.
Good habits.
Listen to your gut literally. Pay attention to how you respond. Adjust. Monitor energy. Thirst. Self-experimentation is key to finding your best approach.
Right.
Stay hydrated. Drink before, during, after. Start hydrating hours before. Electrolytes for long, hot sessions.
Supplements.
Think about them strategically. based on evidence, your needs. But prioritize whole foods first, always.
Good point.
And finally, make it fit your life. Adapt strategies to your routine, your schedule, adjust intake on rest days, keep snacks in your bag, integrate these ideas without adding tons of stress.
That's really actionable advice. Now, thinking about approaches, some people track everything, super strict diets. Others are more flexible. How does that strict versus flexible idea play out with nutrient timing?
That's a really relevant question. A strict approach often means very specific rules, precise calorie macro counting, rigid eating schedules, narrow windows, maybe excluding food groups, can lead to an all-or-nothing mindset sometimes.
Right, very black and white.
Yeah. Flexible, on the other hand, is more about listening to hunger and fullness cues, allowing variety, aiming for general macro targets, not precise schedules. Prioritizes sustainability, a healthy relationship with food.
And what does the science say? Which is better?
Well, research suggests both can work, especially for weight loss when calories are controlled, but some studies hint flexible might lead to better lean mass gains after dieting.
Oh, interesting.
And it tends to be more sustainable long-term. Plus, it seems to promote a healthier psychological relationship with food, potentially lowering disordered eating risks.
Whereas strict.
Strict dieting can be linked to deprivation feelings, higher risk of overeating later, often just harder to stick with. Interestingly, though, studies looking at bodybuilders haven't found big differences in nutrient quality between strict and flexible groups.
So it's more about the psychology and sustainability, maybe.
Seems like a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Flexible approaches can foster a healthier food relationship, less guilt, less restriction. Strictness can sometimes lead to obsession, increased risk of disordered eating. Studies link flexible control to lower disordered eating, better self-regulation. Strict control, linked to more impulsiveness, might not be best for long-term healthy habits.
So how do you, the listener, decide which approach fits you and your goals?
It really depends on you. Your preferences, personality, goals, specific short-term goals, like a competition. Maybe stricter feels more effective short-term.
Right.
But for overall health, sustainable habits, flexible is often better. High-intensity athlete might benefit from more precision. General fitness, meeting daily goals flexibly might be totally fine.
Finding your own balance.
Exactly. And remember the bigger picture. Overall dietary balance and consistency matter most, regardless of strictness. Nutrient-dense foods, total daily calories, macros, those are crucial. Even with flexibility, some consistency helps regulate hunger and metabolism.
This has been an incredibly thorough deep dive.
Yeah.
Let's try and summarize the key takeaways for everyone listening.
Okay, in a nutshell, nutrient timing is strategic eating around exercise. Boost performance, recovery, adaptation. Pre-workout. Fuel up for energy carbs, some protein. Intra-workout for longer sessions. Sustain energy, hydrate carbs, electrolytes. Post-workout. Replenish glycogen, repair muscle carbs, and protein combo.
And critically, it's personal.
Totally. Your training, goals, tolerance, metabolism, they all matter. It's not rigid rules for everyone.
So the main message is experiment. Listen to your body.
Absolutely. See what makes you feel good, perform well, recover best, adjust your plan, find what works for you long term.
And if people feel unsure or want tailored advice?
Talking to a registered dietitian or a sports nutritionist is a great idea. They can give personalized guidance, create a plan just for you and your goals.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. This has shed a ton of light on a complex topic.
My pleasure. Happy to talk about it.
And to you, the listener, just maybe consider this. How could even small, well-timed tweaks to your nutrition unlock that next level in your training, maybe even your overall well-being? Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.